Amazing music happening right here on Enter In, and I'm sure by now you are enjoying the show, and that's what we'd love to hear. And if you are that person that has not given your life to Christ, stay tuned. We'll be showing you how you can get to do that right here on Enter In. Here's a book that has really caught my attention. Okay, first of all, the title, The Make of a Real Woman. So if you're a woman out there, ask yourself, are you a real woman? Or, you know, you need to understand what the make of a real woman is. And this is by Dr. Nellie Kangwa. And guess what? She's in studio with us to find out what really is the make of a real woman. Doctor, how are you doing? And welcome to Enter In.
I'm very well. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
So, you know, the title, first of all, The Make of a Real Woman.
Okay.
What inspired the book?
First and foremost, you know that it's the make and not the making, because she's already made. And it's important to have an understanding, the background of why I wrote this book. It all begins from my foundation, from where I grew up from. Growing up from a family of a bishop in the Baptist church with 6 boys, and I was the only girl. A lot of questions came through my mind because there were a lot of things that I observed as I was growing up, being a young girl. I had a lot of questions in that within the environment. By the way, I grew up from Kitwe, Ganaton. On the copper belt, yeah. So there were a lot of things that were happening in the area where I grew up from. First and foremost, I didn't see the good about being a woman, at least with the people that surrounded my life, my friends, others that surrounded my life. There was a lot of disparity. Even in the church itself, I saw women not arising to the position and all that. So I used to ask Dad, why did God create me a woman? I want to be a boy because I saw boys have more advantages in the things that they did, and I didn't. I woke up early with Mom. She taught me the culture of her life and the culture of where she came from. A woman must wake up early at 4 a.m. We woke up together, cleaned the house, prepared the meals, then off to school. My brothers were sleeping. When we knocked off, my brother threw his bag and we continued with the house chores. Several things were happening. From many questions that I had, I think my dad realized that there was so much within me that he began to now encourage me to talk to God. So he began to teach me on how to speak to God myself, for me to find the position of a woman. Because the questions, I think, were also confusing him, because most of the times, I think the answers were not very satisfactory. After all, he was a man. And in the most of the conversation that I started having with the Lord, he took me to a very, very important scripture that really has ignited the writing of the book. And it's from the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, where God said, let us make man in our own image. I'm paraphrasing. 27, he says, male and female. That began to change a lot of things within me, because I then realized that God created male and female at the same time. And then he built on to say in verse 28 that he blessed them, meaning the male and the female were blessed. And he said, be fruitful to the male and female, multiply, have dominion, replenish and subdue, meaning he gave that mandate to even the female. So because we are talking about a woman, let me lean a little bit more on that aspect, because following through the thread from that scripture began to build my understanding on the position of a woman from God's perspective. Hence the title, The Make, because she was already made. She's already done. Later on, you see that God now, when he has made a man, in chapter 2 and verse 18, he says a very, very important statement there. He says, it is not good for man to be alone. I've always taught in workshops that when God said it is not good for man to be alone, he did not explain what he saw. I believe there were certain things he was not happy about. So even when he was saying, I'm going to make a helper suitable, I had to research that word helper, because does a man really need my help? Does he need an assistant to carry his cap? Does he need assistant to cook? Or what is it? What is the portion of a woman?
What's the definition of
exactly
of the
and
helper?
so in the research that I began to do, I had to go to the original book, which is the Hebrew. There are different types of helpers that have been mentioned from the original Bible, because as you know, English is very, very limited. At this stage, a man is not looking for an assistant. God is not saying a man needs an assistant, somebody who can help him to make the bed, somebody who can help him to do certain things. No, 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 no.
It's not a by the way thing.
It's not a by the way thing. What God is actually saying is that I'm going to make, you know, a solution to the problem. There's something I've observed and I need to come up with a solution. But the only way this solution will execute the assignment is when they understand from the manufacturer's point of view. And so the beginning of a woman in flesh form, not at spirit level, because at spirit level she's sorted. She needs to accomplish all the 5 basic kingdom seeds, which are being fruitful, multiplying, and all the likes. She's done. But when God is now bringing in her soul, which has got the mind, the emotions, and the decision making, I believe he's making a second edition because there's a problem that needs to be sorted out. And so when he's bringing a woman on the scene, this is why a woman must first understand herself from God's perspective before she comes in to join a man. Because if she does not understand the assignment, she's going to abuse herself. She'll also abuse the person who needs that help that God intended for the woman to come and join. And that's how the thread now began to make much more sense, because at this stage God began to explain that the word helper from the Hebrew is talking about something that is an instrument in the maker's hand. In other words, a woman is like an instrument in God's hand to come and be a solution. So a woman is a solution to the world. Give a woman an understanding about something. Give a woman a scattered house, she'll make it into a home. Give a woman a seed, she'll give you a child. So there is a lot of intricacies that a woman herself must understand. And further on, in addition to the make of a real woman, when God now he's making this very woman, I believe God had a conversation before he presented her to Adam. And that is very, very important for every woman to understand before she actually chooses to say, I do. And most of the things I wish I understood even before I got married, because I've been married for 25 years. And I only started understanding my womanhood, I think after 7 years of being in marriage. When this woman was with God, I believe there was a conversation, because the time the woman is being presented to Adam, God and the woman never spoke. The one who spoke was the man. And you know what touches me from that scripture? A man is not looking at a woman to admire her face, her hips, and how she's looking and all. The very first thing a man saw was, this is now bone of my bones. The
inside.
The two words are not the same. Bone and the bones from the Hebrew, from the original words, they're not the same. What a man is actually saying here is that the bone of my bones, the bone, the word bone talks about structure, talks about stability, talks about extent of something. You see, I'm tall, okay, because why? My bones are long. So what the man is saying is that this is now the stability, or the one who holds my bones together, the one who makes my vision to be either short or long. That is why the definition,
brings in the structure there.
Bringing in the structure, the stability, the dependability, and all that. In other words, this woman is not swayed by emotions. This woman is stable. This woman has come to structure my life, because bone of the bones. Bones is fragmentation. It is bones that are fragmented. So the first thing, when a woman is walking into a man's life, she is coming in as a bone. And one of the functions of the bone is to give structure. That's where the bone marrow is. And the bone marrow produces blood. And as you know, the life of a thing is in the blood. So what is it that the woman is bringing out when she opens her mouth? like I mentioned, God and the woman never spoke. And if a woman can only get that understanding, that it is not in the speaking, it is not in having, I call them press conferences in the bedroom, that will sort the issue. A woman must always gravitate towards the manufacturer to find out what it is that she must do as a bond to bring a mend to whatever it is that is going wrong.
Amazing.
The other thing the man said is that this is now flesh of my flesh. What does flesh do? Flesh covers. Flesh brings the comfort. Are you, as a woman, bringing that cover? Or are you one, when something has gone wrong with your husband, you go and tell your parents, you go and tell friends about his weaknesses? What is it that you're bringing? Are you bringing that covering into his life? Are you bringing that protection into his life? Of course, many women who are listening right now, they are answering, you don't know my husband. You don't know why I behave the way I behave. At the end of the day, who is the solution from God's hand?
Are you adding or
are you
providing
adding or
a
you're
solution?
providing? And you know what? The last scripture there in the what I'm following from chapter 2, verse 24 of Genesis says, therefore a man shall leave his mother and father. Now the therefore aspect there is what now is a connecting word. So how does a man leave his mother and father? It is not actual living. Leaving mother and father in actual sense is basically where a man leaves his background, leaves his way of thinking, his selfishness, hiding of pay slip and doing his wrong things, living like a single man, and cleave to who? Now to his wife. So you do not become a wife immediately. Question is, have you really qualified to be called a wife? Because you are first a woman unto the Lord with those aspects that you bring here on earth before you are qualified.
Amen.
So several times many women are disqualified from being wives because a wife is only addressed when she has brought the bone, when she has brought the flesh from God's perspective, because that's when now they become what? One flesh, and they are knitted together. A woman wants to become one flesh and they want transparency. Question is, what will your man be transparent to?
Amen.
Because the last time he just revealed and confessed that I'm sorry, yeah, I messed up. You broadcasted. You reminded him even next week. You reminded him even next year. This is what you did even last year. So really, some of those are things that I've put in the book to help a woman discover herself from God's perspective.
Amazing. We can go on and on. There's so much wisdom and knowledge on this topic. We'll definitely invite you again. Yeah, but in a nutshell, can people get this book somewhere? Yes,
I haven't yet put them into the stores. We're still having them at different places. They can get in touch with me. They can call me on 0966 848208 and they can get a copy. I can show them where they can go. We haven't yet put them in the store, so they're just different churches with different individuals.
Okay, amazing. A wealth of knowledge. And I hope that if you're a woman out there, you've been challenged to definitely impact the world for the better. Let's get to some more music, and of course we get to chit chat after that with Lista.